Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Saying goodbye to an old friend. Three Rivers Stadium implosion. It was home to incredible memories for the Steelers and the Pittsburgh Pirates, but Three Rivers Stadium had seen better days and eventually it was time for it to give way to the Steelers' new home, Heinz Field. So on a Sunday morning in February, Pittsburghers did exactly what you would expect them to do. They gathered throughout the city, from across the river in Point State Park to atop Mount Washington, to witness the home of 4 Super Bowl championship teams and 2 World Series championship teams be imploded. It took 4,800 pounds of dynamite to implode the 30-year-old stadium and just 19 seconds to see it evaporate into a cloud of dust. Three Rivers Stadium fun facts. Opened in 1971 with a seating capacity of 59,000 for football. Home to 14 AFC Central Division champion teams. The Steelers won 13 home playoff games at Three Rivers Stadium. Franco Harris rushed for 27 100-yard games at Three Rivers Stadium. The Steelers won 17 Monday Night Football games at Three Rivers Stadium. 14 Steelers Hall of Famers played at Three Rivers Stadium, along with one Hall of Fame coach in Chuck Noll. Played host to a Bruce Springsteen concert in 1985 that drew a crowd of 65,935. The Steelers defeated the Washington Redskins, 24-3, in the final game at Three Rivers Stadium. Jerome Bettis was the last player to rush for 100 yards at Three Rivers Stadium, tallying 104 yards on 25 carries against the Redskins in the final game. Running back Richard Huntley scored the final touchdown at Three Rivers Stadium on a 30-yard run in the fourth quarter against the Redskins. Chad Scott had the final interception at Three Rivers Stadium, picking off Jeff George in the second quarter. On the final drive ever at Three Rivers Stadium, the Steelers went for it on 4th and 10 with 35 seconds remaining. Amos Saru converted with an 11-yard gain to the Redskins' 3-yard line. With time running out, the final play ever was a 2-yard loss by Cordell Stewart, who was letting the clock run out. 3 lessons Steelers can learn from Eagleson. Sunday night, the University of Pittsburgh had students storming through the campus in celebration. The team that plays 310 miles away on Sundays had won the Super Bowl, and the reaction had spilled into the Pittsburgh Steelers' backyard. It's on head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan to make sure that doesn't happen again. Pittsburgh once again made the playoffs in 2024, but its season ended a month before Philadelphia's at the hands of a Baltimore Ravens team that outclassed its rival across the board. The loss helped show the distance between merely making the playoffs and climbing the mountain. As such, the Eagles' championship teaches the Steelers 3 key lessons for getting back to the big game. 1. Day 2 quarterbacks can be the path out of purgatory. It seems like the only way Pittsburgh injects upside into its quarterback room this offseason is through the NFL draft, but at number 21, it's unlikely a suitable quarterback is on the board. Waiting 1 round for a high-upside passer may solve that problem. While they don't hit at the rate of their first-round peers, a quality supporting cast and less pressure to start and succeed right away can help encourage development. The Eagles, meanwhile, are the platonic ideal of a second-round quarterback working out. They shocked the football world by picking Jalen Hurts with Carson Wentz in town. But there were doubts about Wentz's viability as a long-term starter, and Hurts eventually got his shot. With a strong enough supporting cast and flashes of brilliance, he ultimately earned the job and didn't look back. A half-decade later, he's a Super Bowl champion. 2. There's never enough investment in the trenches. The Steelers' reputation as a physical football team lends itself to the assumption that they are spending enough in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Taking offensive tackles in the first round of back-to-back drafts only adds credence to that theory. But as Philadelphia has proven, winning in the trenches can turn upsets into wins and Hall of Fame quarterbacks into fodder for a championship defense. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman isn't afraid to spend significant draft tackle on the position while insulating the unit with free agent signings. Every year, it seems like a new starter emerges and contributes to a playoff run. That isn't a mistake. Pittsburgh's offensive and defensive lines are good, but they aren't great. This offseason provides the opportunity to change that. 3. Expectation is the engine of aggressiveness. The Steelers are respected for their consistency, having not lost 9 games in the regular season under head coach Mike Tomlin. Perfect trade. Steelers must offer 49ers for Deeboo Samuel. It looks like the San Francisco 49ers will have a different receiver room in 2025 as they will likely trade Deeboo Samuel. The veteran wideout recently broke his silence about the situation. And here is a perfect trade. The Steelers must offer the 49ers for Samuel. It all comes down to a draft pick. And with the way the market has gone for veteran wide receivers, it should cost the Steelers too much draft capital to land the 49ers veteran. They could send a 4th-round pick to the 49ers and pair Samuel with rising star George Pickens. Samuel's days as a number 1 target are gone into a sea of age and injury history. But he still has the juice to give defenses plenty to think about as the number 2 option. Deeboo Samuel would be nice fit with Steelers. Of course, this comes with the caveat that the Steelers keep Pickens in Pittsburgh. Beat writer Mark Kaboly thinks they will, according to a post on X by Steelers Depot. Kaboly predicts George Pickens will be back with the Steelers in 2025. I think I'm really thinking or believing that George Pickens will be back. So you better prepare yourself. They're not just gonna dump him and say, let's cut the cancer and just move on here. They want to at least have somebody in place, and unless you have a guy who is as talented as him, you're not going to do that because all of a sudden that compromises your whole offense. I don't see that happening. So this brings Samuel to the forefront. And he's apparently ready to move on from the 49ers, who feel likewise, according to a post on X by Adam Schefter. The 49ers have granted Deeboo Samuel and his agent Tory Dandy permission to find a trade partner for the wide receiver, Samuel told ESPN. This comes after Samuel asked San Francisco to trade him during the players' exit meetings after the season. It was a hard conversation to have with Kyle Shanahan because of the relationship that we have, Samuel said today. But I have to do what's best. I'm more than thankful for the Niners giving me the opportunity of a lifetime, but now I think it's best that we find another team. Deeboo Samuel still has the talents and skill. San Francisco head coach Kyle Shanahan said he doesn't think Samuel has lost a step, according to a post on Facebook by 95.7 The Game. I don't think Deeboo slowed down, Shanahan said. And, I think he got banged up early in the year. I think he had an awesome training camp to where I'd say he didn't slow down at all. And then got hurt and had the pneumonia. When you build up a bunch in camp and you miss a lot of time in practice, it is hard to maintain that stuff. But by no means do I think he's lost it or anything. And then his looks haven't been as good this year. Just like they haven't been for everybody. When the 10 guys around you aren't doing quite as good. Whether it's the quarterback. Whether it's O-line. You're not going to do as good as you did the year before. This is good news for the Steelers' plans to seek a trade for Samuel. And there's more the Steelers could like. San Francisco general manager John Lynch said in early January he expected Samuel to remain with the team, according to NFL.com. Yeah, Lynch said. A good player and has done a ton for this organization, and we're not in the business of letting good players out of here. Steelers can see 49ers still value Samuel. However, with a Brock Purdy extension anticipated, the 49ers have some financial restructuring to explore. It affects guys like defensive tackle Javon Hargrave and could impact dealing Samuel. We had some salary cap challenges, and that was something that allowed for the post one, you can early designate it, Lynch said. And what I told Javon is he's a player we really like, same reason we went out and signed him. That hasn't changed. He's an impactful player. We do have some challenges, and so this doesn't mean we can't compete for his services. It allows him though, Rather than waiting until post-June 1, and being SOL because free agency already happened, it gives him an opportunity to go see what's his market, and that may include us. So, we'll get into our plans. Another thing that could impact Samuel is the emergence of Ricky Pearsall. And are you a fan? What do you think of Deeboo Samuel's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.